Greetings and welcome to our daily walk through the scriptures for February the 23rd. Your readings today came out of Leviticus chapter 14, finishing out Mark chapter 6, Psalm 40, 1 through 10, and Proverbs chapter 10, verses 11 through 12. Yesterday's conversation got pretty heavy. I mean, we talked about, the sacrifice and the death of John the Baptist and the reality of what Christian living can potentially look like here on earth. And so today I wanted to go a little bit lighter on you. And so we're going to look at Psalm 40. And this is actually one of my favorite Psalms. Confession, I wasn't really a big fan of the Psalms for most of my life. I kind of found them boring. I kind of found them poetry. And I'm like, not really. But I had a professor in college, in seminary, who had an incredible passion for the Psalms. And as I got to be with him and got to walk with him, I recognized the beauty of the Psalms. And it wasn't necessarily because he brought anything to them. It was because of his own life journey and walking through the struggles of his own life and sharing his testimony and how the Psalms helped him in those testimonies that I began to have a greater appreciation. But Psalm 40 has been one that I've actually loved for many, many years. It was originally a U2 song. Well, that's how I first ran across it, was a song by U2 called 40. Waited patiently for the Lord, he turned and heard my cry. That's Psalm 40. But I love the words of this song, and it is an uplifting psalm. So I want you to be encouraged today as you read Psalm 40, because what you're really getting a glimpse of is David's heart and his love for God, his trust for God. Now, we have hard days. We do. I think we all can agree that we have hard days, and I'm not trying to compare hard days, but I would imagine that as a rule, generally, our hard days aren't as bad as the hard days that they had back in the Bronze Age when David was around. I mean, for us, a bad day is the air conditioner goes out. That's a pretty bad day. The air conditioning didn't exist. Ice didn't exist. They had to struggle and scrimp and work so much harder for the things that they had in their life. And those weren't bad days. Those were normal days. Bad days were when your enemies were literally trying to kill you. And so, when you read David talk about those things, he's not being a drama mama. He's being a legit, hey, these guys are they're literally trying to kill me. So when you see things like David say, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see and fear the Lord and put their trust in him. And when we read these words, we know that David is genuine. We know that these are coming truly from David's heart. And David didn't do this just out of rote. I mean, as a matter of fact, in verse 6, he talks about how sacrifice and offering you don't desire. Really what he's saying is, hey, you just want my heart. And that's what David says in 8. I desire to do your will, my God. Your law is within my heart. This is a beautiful, beautiful psalm. So here's what I want you to do today. I want you, and it doesn't have to be this psalm, but I want you to take a psalm. This is a good one. And I want you to give it to God as if you wrote it. I want you to look at it, and I want you to put it into your own words. So if it says, I waited patiently for the Lord, he turned and heard my cry, I want you to stop and I say, God, this is, and maybe you're having a struggle right now, and you say, God, I'm really struggling with this. I'm having a real issue with this. But I know that you've stopped and you've turned and you're hearing my cry. You're hearing what I have said to you, God, and you are going to pull me out of the miry clay. You're going to give me the firm foundation on which to stand, God. And I praise you for being my rock. You see where this goes? You see how this develops and grows? And I want you to give a hymn of praise to God. Now, you're like, Jeremy, I ain't singing. Don't sing. I'm not asking you to sing. Turn it into a prayer. Turn it into whatever you think you need to do. But I want you to take some time today and to do exactly what David did, to express your heart to God. Don't hold back. And the Psalms get messy. We know this, and we'll look at some Psalms here in the coming weeks and months that get really messy and really awkward and uncomfortable. Don't hold back. God already knows your heart. There's no point in trying to conceal it from him. Okay, hopefully this is an encouragement to you today, and we'll talk next time.